Hello guys, welcome to a new video, and in this video we are going to do some cam overflow attack using Kali Linux. And I'm a little bit hyped because we are going to perform a cam overflow attack on a switch using Kali Linux. Okay, so before we start with this video, I want to give a shout out to my boy Lab every day for tweeting about me and what I'm doing out here. So he just said, so shout out to CCNA Daily Tips for sharing his journey on his website. He's been putting in work. Follow him. And if you do not follow him, go ahead and follow him at Lab every day. He's a really cool guy, and he's the reason why I got into CCNA back 2 years ago when I was in help desk and I wanted to get out of there and I wanted to do something new because it was very stressful for me. So he was the reason why I got out of that and got my CCNA. So shout out to him and go ahead and follow him at Laugh Every Day on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, create a Twitter account and follow him and then follow me. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and start with this cam overflow that we're going to perform. And what we're going to do is we're going to, like I said 100 times, we're going to do a cam overflow attacks. If you don't know what a cam overflow attack is, well, it is when an attacker connects to a single or multiple switch ports and then runs a tool that mimics the existence of thousands of random MAC addresses on those switch ports, right? So the switch enters this into the cam table, and eventually the cam table fills to capacity, right? And when a switch is in this state that its CAM table is filled to capacity, no more new MAC addresses can be learned. Therefore, the switch starts to flood any traffic from new hosts out of all ports of the switch, right? So it's basically kind of like like a DOS attack, because you won't be able to ping anybody, you won't be able to connect, and we're going to see that if it doesn't crash, because I think the switch is going to crash when I do this. And this came overflow attack turns a switch into a hub, which enables the attacker to eavesdrop on a conversation and perform a middle-of-the-man attacks. And a common tool that performs CAM overflows is Macoff, and it's the one that we're going to be using right now. So first of all, if you want to install Kali Linux, it's really easy. You can just go ahead to the GNS website, which I have over here, and you can go to the appliances and search for Kali Linux. You can download this appliance and you can import that appliance. And then after you import that appliance, it's going to let you to download because it is a free tool. Really cool. Um, so if you guys want a video on it, just let me know, and I can do a video on how to install Kali Linux on GNS3. But let's go ahead and start with this video. And the first thing that I want to do is I have not configured interface on Kali Linux yet. So that's the first thing we want to do. So let's go ahead to and do an ifconfig. And then after this, you want to config the interface um, 0. And we are going to give it an IP address, which is going to be 192.168.1.3, net mask of 255.255.255.0, which is /24. And then we're going to add a route. Um, and the route is going to be a default gateway, and the default gateway is 192.168.1.1. Network unreachable. Why is this network unreachable right here? So when we add a route with a default gateway, so route at default gateway, can we ping anything? Why does it say network unreachable? Let's go ahead and go to our interfaces, wire interfaces, network settings, and let's see what's going on. Why does it say connection fail? So we do have this one right here. I think it's the one Ethernet 0. It should be connected to the switch, right, on Ethernet 0. Let's go ahead and let me mm, identify IPv4. So we want to set this to be manual. Let's just go ahead and add it from here over here. 1.1.3, netmax 255.255.255.0, gateway 192.168.1.1, and let's go ahead and apply that. Let's see what it does now. Now it is connected. Okay, so I guess it did not do it from the interface, which is weird. And you can verify your configuration by doing ifconfig, and you can go to the one that we have connected, which is this one right here. Oh, is this one right here. You can see the IP address, the net mask, and the broadcast address. Um, and if you want to go ahead and ping, we should be able to ping the router. As you can see, we're able to ping this default router. We should also be able to ping this router over here, which is mimic a computer right now, um, which is mimicking a computer right now. So we are able to ping anybody on from this Kali Linux. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and perform that Mac off. And one of the things that we can do before we do anything, let's go ahead and go to the switch. Let's open up the switch. And from this switch, what you want to do, enable, let's do a show MAC address table count. And let's see how many we have learned. So we have learned 3 so far. And let's see, as you can see, we have one on gigabit 01, 00, and 02. Those are 3 different MAC addresses that we learned. So the switch have learned the Kali Linux on gigabit 00, on gigabit 0, on gigabit 01, it has learned the one from this router. And the other one that is learned is the one on gigabit 02, which is this one right here. But now what we're going to do is we are just going to enter a bunch of MAC addresses um, with this Kali Linux. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's put this over here. And the way that you can do this is by running a Mac off. And then after you do Mac off, um, the other thing that you are going to do is you're going to do -I for interface. And then you're going to do the interface where you are plugged into the switch, which is Ethernet 0. And then you're going to do -N for number. And this is the number of MAC addresses that you want to send. Let's send 10 right now. So as you can see, the count right here now is 3. If I send 10, we're going to have 13. There you go. Now it has learned 13 MAC addresses. And let's see what is the maximum that the MAC address table is able to learn. I thought if we say count, okay, so we have a total of this is how much MAC addresses this switch is able to learn. So if we go ahead and just send a bunch, let's go ahead and send like 100 more. And let's say count over here. You can see it has learned this much. Let's go ahead and send from Kali Linux. What we're going to do is we're going to send 1,000 now. And then we are going to go back to the switch. The count is at 1,100. Let's go ahead and send 10,000. So we're going to send 10,000 MAC addresses to that switch. And let's see what is the switch doing. It is a little bit slow, and that's because let's see if we're able to, from the PC, we're able to beat the default gateway. We're able to do that. So the switch is still working. There we go. So we have learned 4,000. Let's see if we can send, how many is that? 100,000 MAC addresses now. And while we're doing that, let's see if we're able to ping. So we're still able to ping the default gateway. And it is still sending a bunch of MAC addresses over there. Let's see if we're able to still ping. So we're still able to ping. Let's see what's the count. And as you can see, it is a little bit slow. I press the arrow key up to this switch, and it still hasn't responded because it's learning all these MAC addresses right now. So I'm attacking the switch. Let's see if we're able to ping. We're still able to ping, so that's good. But the switch is not responding right now because it's just getting bombarded by Kali Linux with all these MAC addresses. I'm sending 100,000 MAC addresses to this switch, and it can learn a bunch of MAC addresses, as you can see right here. Let's go over here. Here we go. And we are still able to ping, so that's good. But the switch is now responding right now because it's learning so many MAC addresses um, that the switch might just quit on us. Let's see. The switch is still now responding to my commands. So, okay, so it is now responding. Still slow. Let's see if we're able to ping. We're still able to, a little bit to ping. As you can see, we got two. We missed one. That's because it is being attacked by this Kali Linux. And now, since it stopped, let's go ahead and show the count. As you can see, we have learned this many MAC addresses. Let's go ahead and send more, but my connection fell for some reason. Um, let's go ahead and show IP interface brief. It is still up. Let's go ahead and send 100,000 more. Let's see if we're able to ping. We're still able to ping. So that's good. Let's see if we do a ping 192.168.1.1. Let's do a question. Oops, it's not ping, it's ping. And then let's do a question mark over here. And let's go ahead to repeat. I want to repeat this 1,000 times. Let's see if we miss any pings. So the switch is still handling really good because the count, it has a really high count of MAC addresses that it can learn. So after this, 100,000 MAC addresses are done. I'm going to send just the maximum allowed and see what happens because it should be breaking that switch whenever we reach that maximum learn IP addresses or MAC addresses. But as you can see, you will not be able to um, configure anything on the switch if you get on the switch while this is happening because it's just learning so many MAC addresses that the switch it just slowed down completely because we're basically doing it's like a DOS attack, if you can say, because you could deny service, right, or deny configuration on this switch. As you can see, stop, but it's still going. Yep, it is still going. There you go. And I'm still able to ping. I missed a couple pings right here. That means that the switch is getting overwhelmed. You can see I'm missing the pings, a lot of pings. As you can see, we are missing. This is because the switch is not really handling all that traffic or learning all these MAC addresses. Um, and there you go. It is still doing its job. And I'm denying service right now. As you can see, that's what happens when you do a CAM overflow attack, right? When you just filling up that entire CAM table. You can see we missed a bunch of right here, a bunch of them right here. So we start missing over here. So I am denying service right now. As you can see, we are missing a lot more and it's a lot slower. So what I'm doing right now is slowing down that network for them. So a lot of people are getting mad because they cannot get on Facebook and look at their profile pictures. Or they cannot creep on people on Facebook right now because I'm basically denying service. And there we go. So I'm not going to do when this 100,000 MAC addresses are done, I'm not going to do anymore. I'm just going to show you guys how you can stop this attack from happening and what are the things that you could do for this so this attack cannot happen on your network. So you can see we are still getting a bunch of timeouts. I believe they're timeouts. There we go, a lot of dots. Look at right here, missing a lot. And Kali Linux is still running. And And if you guys want to run this, I recommend you guys to have a computer that has at least 16 gigabytes if you want to run this, because otherwise, GNS3 might freeze on you. Are we done? Is Kali Linux done messing up the network? Still not done. It's 100 more thousand MAC addresses that I'm sending right now, and the switch is not responding at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and just put a stop to it. Okay, so I just do a Control C right here. Let's put a stop over here because it is just taking too long. And let's see if we are able to now. Yeah, we're not still able to manage the switch because it's still learning all these MAC addresses from Kali Linux, and it's still probably catching up or trying to catch up with Kali Linux. As you can see right here, we're still, that switch is still slow, really slowed down the network. Let's see if we are able to ping from this other router. See if we are able to ping Kali Linux. As you can see right now, we're not able to ping. Um, we're not able to ping this computer over here or Kali Linux. Let's try it again. Okay, now the switch is responding. Let's see the count. Look at the count. We have a lot of MAC addresses that we have learned, but we still have a lot of space available. But as you can see, our network really slowed down by a lot. And as you can see at the end, I was able to, now I'm able to ping Kali Linux. We were not able to do that before because of those all these MAC addresses that the switch had to learn. So what can you do to stop this? So one of the things that you could do is that you can go to the interface gigabit 0/0 all the way to um, let's see, if you go to gigabit 0/0, and what you want to do is you want to go to all the way to gigabit 0/3 comma gigabit 1 all the way to 3 comma gigabit 0 gigabit 2 0 all the way to 3, and then comma gigabit 3 0 all the way to 3. Let's see if that is right. We have to do a range. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to um, configure all these interfaces that are not going to be trunking, because if they're not between two switches, right? If these interfaces are not pointing to a switch, what you want to do is you want to configure those interfaces as a switch port mode, access mode. Okay, so and that means is that we're going to put it into one VLAN and one VLAN only, which is going to be VLAN 1 by default. And the other thing that you could do is the switch port security. You want to configure switch port security, and then after that switch port security, you can do a question mark. And what is the maximum of the IP addresses that you want to learn? So I want to learn a maximum of 2 IP addresses per interface. You can go ahead and set that, and then after that you can do a violation. And a violation means that if it is higher than 2, you either want to do a protect, which is just going to drop the packet. You want to restrict, which is going to drop the packet, and it's also going to send a syslog message, or you want to shut down the interface. By default, if you don't configure the violation, by default it's going to be the shutdown. So let's go ahead and just configure shutdown. And other things that you are able to do is just add a MAC address. And when you add a MAC address, you can either input that MAC address that you want to, or you can do set as sticky. And when you set a sticky, what it's going to do is that the first MAC address that goes into the interface is going to learn it and it's going to save it into the config mode, okay, into the configuration not in config mode. It's going to save it into the configuration. And after it saves that to the configuration, it's going to be there and it's going to be assigned to that port. So let's see now, since this has been configured, let's go ahead and end it and let's go ahead and save it. So now let's go ahead and try to send another attack, but now I just want to send 10 MAC addresses at the same time. Let's see what happens. And as you can see right here, gigabit 01 went into the error disable mode because there was a secure violation. So there was an error detected on gigabit 01, and then they put gigabit 0, I mean not 01, gigabit 00 on the error disable mode. That means that it disable or it shut down that interface. And if you do a show IP interface brief, you're going to see that right now, and you can see that the status of it is down and the protocol is down. So what it did was, since Kali Linux was trying to do a CAM overflow attack, it stopped that attack and it shut down that port completely. So that is a way that you um, can put a stop to a CAM overflow attack. So if you do not going to have a trunking, if you're not going to be trunking, so if you're not going to be plugged into another switch, you want to configure that port into an access port, right? And then configure port security after that, and then tell how many interfaces you're going to allow over there. But if it's going to be between two switches, then you can just configure that as a trunk port, and then you can also set up a maximum number of MAC addresses that you want to be learned from that interface. And if that exceeds that um, number of MAC addresses allowed, it's going to put this into a violation. And if you want it just to shut down, it's going to shut down the interface. But if you want to do it, if you don't want to shut it down, if you just want to reject it, you could also do that by configuring either protect or restrict. So thank you guys for watching. This is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video with Kali Linux. I'm kind of hyped that I was able to do this CAM overflow attack on GNS3, which is really cool. So thank you guys for watching. And if you guys have a Twitter account, guys, go ahead and follow my boy Lab every day on Twitter, and also follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. And if you don't have a Twitter account, hey, go ahead and create a Twitter account. We have lots of fun on Twitter, and then go ahead and follow me at CCNA Daily Tips, and also go ahead and follow my boy Lab every day. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.